Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and joining me from across the small pond and the big pond are my favourite people in the world. We have the random dude Josh, we have Tracy, and we would be lost if it wasn't for the artistic critique of Freya.
Hi.
Now, I'm not saying anything about the books that we're going to look at today, but there was a choice. I could either have one of these bad boys in honor of my friend Josh.
Yay.
However,
cheers.
This is what we'll be getting drunk.
Yeah.
They haven't made a Dr. Pepper with alcohol yet, although Dr. Pepper, if you could please start doing that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, Southern Comfort and Dr. Pepper all in one glass.
I mean, Mountain Dew's already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They've already they were releasing a hard Mountain Dew.
Yeah, there's a hard water over there. There's some water company that like Apple Water or something that is alcoholic as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let y'all know how the Mountain Dew Baja Blast hard version is.
Oh, it's even the Baja Blast. Ew.
Well, and they've got some other flavors, but
Okay,
that was the big one. It was like, ooh, that's the big one.
Well, Mountain Dew, they like to do everything. They did energy drinks when that was, the big thing back in the day. And those were actually pretty good. But
yep, the hydrating one. This podcast, however, is not sponsored by Mountain Dew. However, if they would like to sponsor us, let us know.
Yeah.
But just remember, we now know that Soda Pop stands for Life Water Energy. We've already know that. Thanks
don't even get me started on that.
We'll save that till later. All right then. All right, first time around, we're taking a look back a couple of weeks. We're going to some more recent books. We're going to start off with a book. We'll start with my choice for a change. And mainly, I picked this book. I wasn't going to, but I think it's something that we haven't really spoken about previously. So we'll talk about Batman Catwoman special. Yes, I know we talked about Batman Catwoman before. I know that. It's written by Tom King. The art. Okay, so this is the special that was held over from last year following the death of John Paul Leon, celebrated comic book artist from across DC indie books, has an absolute massive following. If you look into the book, John Paul produced the art for pages 1 through 13, then breakdowns up to page 20. From there on in, we have a rogues gallery of bat artists to take over. We have Bernard Chang, who makes an appearance again later on. He's joined with Sean Crystal, and we've got Mitch Gerard, who saw time on Heroes in Crisis. Colours are by Dave Stewart, and letters are by Clayton Cowles. There you go. So for me, this book absolutely reads gorgeously. I'm having a bit of a Tom King renaissance after the last pod. Everyone knows how much I love the Supergirl book. I'm sorry, guys, I'm keeping you awake there. But this book, it reminds me of the Batman Annual from a couple of years back, which was kind of like the wonderful life of Bruce and Selina. This kind of follows the same theme in that it picks different bits. Lots of different Catwoman outfits are involved, including my favorite. Of course, John Paul Leon's art stands out as fantastic. It was a shame we couldn't get to see the whole book in that style, but there's some interesting bits. We get to see Selina as a child. We see Bruce as a child. We see Helena as a child. There's loads of cats, so it's a crazy cat family for sure. Yeah, there you go. Josh, what did you think of this book?
It wasn't bad. I think I'm just gearing up for an influx of Batman Catwoman books, with the Batman coming out here in less than a month.
Is there a film coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, March 4th.
Unless they delay it again, which
Who knows? But I mean,
Let's
where
not
they're
Top Gun.
really pushing the whole bat and the cat thing. I mean, they made a whole freaking trailer around that. I anticipate us getting a lot more Bat and Cat books. Now, that being said, I didn't mind this book. One, with it being a black label, it really allowed for a little more creative liberties, if you will. I definitely feel it had the feel of an indie book, which honestly I'm okay with.
We should expect with John Paul Leon on Zappa, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it still is a fantastic read. I personally love the art in this, so being able to see all the different Catwoman costumes was great. Seeing Helena as Robin, that was kind of cool to see.
Agreed.
I mean, aside from that, it's definitely one worth picking up.
It's interesting. Like, I found it interesting how Bruce tries so hard. You know, he always seems to miss the mark no matter what he does. There's a couple of scenes in there where he's trying to do something nice for Selena, and so he just shows he doesn't understand Selena. There's also still some more of that whole Joker Catwoman thing going on. Mm-hmm. So I'm still quite unsure about what's going on with that in the current book. I also did like the rant she has about, you don't know what happens to me when I'm not here, you know, because she goes on and where do I go? Do I end up in prison? Which was quite interesting take, because we never think about what happens to them whilst they're in there, especially someone like Selena, who doesn't really belong in Arkham.
Yeah.
Cool. But of course, I'm sure Frey will pick up the fact that Selena has purple legs on one panel, but I'll just say that there. Tracy, what did you think of this book?
I thought that it was a fitting tribute to bring out for, you know, the styling that it was done in, how they kept close to it. It's very quintessential Jean Paul Leon, so it's, you know, it's very much, you know who it is. The minute you look at that, you know, you just know. Mm-hmm. I felt that the story itself was trying to paint Catwoman in a different light. I think, you know, they're giving alternate Catwomans in different parts of her life, and I just think it was a bit too long in that life story, you know. It could have been done in less pages, but I can understand why they did it in that length. The story itself is very touching, you know what I mean? It is about this, you know, this girl who has nothing, who was born to nothing, and then all of a sudden her life has changed, and you know, she's then with the most, you know, influential, powerful and rich man in the world, and obviously he doesn't get it. There's no way he'd get it, because he wouldn't understand her life. But she's there, and she does love him, and he does love her. One of my favorite lines, so when he was trying to say, but you know, she should be out fighting. She's 12. Damien, was it Damien? Damien was out at 10, and she was like, yeah, but he was raised by assassins. Yeah. and he just looks at her, and the panel just goes, but she was raised by you.
Yeah.
And I felt that was a beautifully touching moment in such a dark medium, you know what I mean? He wanted to bring yet another child as a Robin out for whatever his weird need for that is. And yet he wants to bring another one of his actual children out, and, you know, Selena's trying to hold back as much as she can to protect her child from the life that she had. And I thought that was great. After that story and then all the other ones, I was kind of like, oh, it's so disjointed, lads. But yeah. I know they were trying to show off the other creators' art style.
Well, it's a good point you make, because you're absolutely right. I think when you look at Bernard Chan, who we're going to look at again later on in the pod, as well as Mitch Gerard, this isn't their style per se. No. So you can see them trying to curb the natural instincts to maintain, especially on pages 14 through 20, where they're working on the breakdowns, trying to keep everything
And that's why it's so much more simplified when it gets to that stage.
Yeah.
But you can tell, like, it's so obvious that it's a multiplayer page.
You've been reading Marvel books again. Ooh. Watch out for those migraines.
Shush. But yeah, it's like you're going to love it if you're a Bats Cats person, you're going to absolutely love it. You're going to love this whole lineage of start of her life to the end of his, to her moving forward without it, and without him. And it's a beautiful story, but it's just a bit too long. I think if they had ended the special with that instead of continuing, it would have been great.
So it's a little bit too long. That's what she said. But Freyja, isn't that the knock on Tom King's writing, generally speaking? That it is a little bit
don't
too...
they long? Yeah, too much.
Giggity.
Giggity, yeah.
I was trying to do a nice, clever segue there. Thanks for
Yeah, but
my chips.
that's not gonna fly here. So I agree. It's just too long. But then again, I'm not exactly the person that should review this because I am, like I said before, I'm sick of the Catwoman, Batman thing. It's been going on a little too long. I want him to go back to being Playboy Bruce, just because I like some of the other love interests he has, and Selina's just overdone at this point. I'm bored of her.
Okay.
The story was nice. I'm happy I wasn't going crazy with the art changing because I was like, what the hell just happened? When it first switched, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I liked all the costume changes. I like the however on page 16, 17 when they're macking out on the roof.
Yeah.
Go on, Josh, get there. Go
yeah,
on.
there you go.
There you go.
There it is. So
purple
this
legs.
costume,
Check out those purple legs.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. These shoes are thigh highs, and I love thigh highs. And the fact that they made them knee highs in this shot is fucking stupid. And it looks awful.
It's a different costume, that's why.
It's not a different costume. It's the same freaking costume.
If you see the bit where they're kissing there on that panel,
yeah,
that's her old 70s costume. That's the dress. You can see the green cape. That's why she's wearing calf boots. And then the next one where she's in the thigh highs, that's the Jim Ballant costume from the 90s. They're two different timepieces.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Don't you love that Johnny knows what type of lady shoes his Catwoman is wearing?
Oh my god!
Time.
It just feels terrible just joining it because at least switch to a costume that's a lot different looking instead of one that's essentially the same except she has thigh. Her gloves are longer and her boots are thigh highs instead of
Well, that's what I was saying. The legs colored wrong. The legs should be skin colored.
Yeah. So right there.
Yeah, they can't get it right. And that's why I thought it was the other costume because it's not. Oh my gosh! Just get the costume right, or just don't have one that's essentially exactly the same on the next panel if it's not supposed to be the same costume.
So let me just ask quickly before we move on, Freya, are you more pissed that's changed like that, or are you more pissed that I was right?
Actually, that was changed and they screwed it up.
All right, so Freya's made an interesting point. Catwoman, she's been the focus of Bruce's love life or Batman's love life for quite some time now. There are other love interests. Freya, you started this off. Other than Catwoman, who is your favorite Batman squeeze?
Oh, my favorite one?
Yep.
Oh, I like Talia, but that's because she's psychotic and I like that. And she's kind of the opposite and she actually is a villain and they're trying to make Selina a hero, which pisses me off too. But I like how Talia is just like, yeah, let's just,
unrepentant.
Kill people.
Tracy, same question. Talia.
She took the words out of my mouth. She is such a amazingly strong character that there ain't no way that there's any not retribution. There's no arc for her to turn into a hero. She's just such a biatch. I love her.
And just quickly about Talia then, before we get Josh's on this. If you go and check out the recent Outside the Panels interview with Dr. Travis Langley, question comes up. he brings up Talia, and he says Talia's pretty much interesting, but she's always a foil for someone else. It's either Raish or Batman. She's never great by herself. Just an interesting point. You want to go and find that out? Go and watch Outside the Panels. It's on now.
Yeah.
Josh, favorite Batman squeeze?
I'd have to go with Talia.
Yeah.
It's between. I mean, they've run. Okay, I'm going to try to say this without getting a giggity or that's what she said.
Do it anyway. We want to.
Okay, well, they've pounded the Bat-Cat thing into the ground. Giggity.
Giggity.
I would like them to do more with Talia. Let's bring Talia back into the forefront.
Well, I'm glad no one said Batgirl.
Who would say Batgirl?
I
They need
don't
to
know.
be slapped because that's wrong.
We don't talk about the first 30 minutes of the Killing Joke animated movie for that reason.
I like the first 30 minutes. So, just saying. How about, I can't believe no one said Vicky Vale. And I can't believe no one said Silver St. Cloud.
Vicky Vale's a bit. I'm going to use a swear word. Sorry, she's a bit pissy.
Yeah.
Today's pod has been sponsored by the word. Never mind. I'm joking. You
Okay,
choose.
so hold on. Which Vicky Vale are we talking about here?
Batman and Robin, Vicky Vale?
No.
Batman and Robin. No.
Vicky
yeah,
Vale.
yeah, of course, Batman and Robin. Who else is in the Vicky Vale?
Batman and Robin. Vicky Vale. Batman. Vicky Vale's not in Batman and Robin.
Was that Vicky Vale? Or was that
No.
Batman Forever?
Are we talking
Vicky
about
Vale.
Batman 89 or are we talking about the Vicky Vale from the Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder?
No, I'm talking about Vicky Vale, written by Alan Grant from Detective Comics, drawn by Norm Brayfogle.
So I'd have to go with the Vicky Vale from the Frank Miller Jim Lee series.
That's just because it's Jim Lee art. I said art. Just in case anyone says anything.
Well, one, she was a redhead, and I like redheads.
Oh,
See, that's terrible, isn't it? That the reason why you like her character is purely.
There was that.
That and there's panels of her lingerie.
The fact that she also didn't put up with a whole lot of crap either in that particular series.
See, so that's fine. It's fine. I'm sticking with mine because there's the lovely cover, and I can't remember what number it is. I think it's around the 620s. It might be 630s, where Vicky Vale's in hospital and Bruce Wayne's doing the whole pull the mask off thing. He's that close to telling who he is. So
well, I'm glad none of us said Kim Basinger because
yeah.
But she was nice to look at.
She's got a great set of lungs on her. She can scream like nobody's business. That one screams so much you could be a Doctor Who assistant. All right.
True story, my friend.
Oh my
True
gosh,
story.
yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, there you go. So that's Batman Catwoman special. It's been out a couple of weeks. If you get a chance to go and check it out, feel free. I must be getting old because that's the second Tom King book I've enjoyed. Oh, what's going on? I need to take some tablets. All right. Sorry.
We'll send some to you. It's fine.
All right. So next up is Freya. I think this is your call, is it not? Wonder Girl 7.
Yep.
So this is written by Joelle Jones, who we may remember for writing Catwoman a little while ago, and of course the Future State Wonder Girl books when she was Wonder Woman. God knows why she got demoted. Art by Leila Del Duca, colors by the always fantastic Georgia Belair, and letters by Pat Brosso or Brosseo, or Seau, even. So I'm going to ask the question with this book: what the hell is going on? Freya, maybe you can help me out with it.
Not really. All I know, I haven't really been keeping up with this, and I really should have because I like Yara. She essentially, Cupid or Eros, has taken control of her essentially, and so, which is kind of funny and ironic at the same time because she kicks his ass. But Yeah, and she's the Brazilian Amazonians are trying to rescue her from Mount Olympus. And I don't know. I need to go back and reread it to know exactly what's going on. But yeah, and for some reason, I guess we have Cassandra floating around.
And Donna Troy, it's like a whole Wonder Girl convention.
And I'm like, how about you guys go away and let Yara have her own book, please? Just shoo. We don't need all the Wonder Girls.
Shoo.
Just go away. Because Yara is the most fun out of all of them. I like her character a lot. And I like this book. I do like the art style. There were things, of course, I greatly disliked art-wise. But, you know, overall, I really liked it. I need to go back and read everything.
I sometimes think some of the poses look a little bit wooden. I mean, that bit where she's fighting the dude with the sword on the panel we're looking at now, that doesn't look like a comfortable body position.
Nope, I was thinking that too. That's one of my art things. I'm like, she's always like leaning forward for some reason, and I'm like, that's just a weird position to have her in. It looks uncomfortable, and first of all, she would be leaning backwards, not forwards, because when you lean forwards and you block something, you tend to, they have the upper hand because they're pushing you down.
Yeah.
And that sort of go right through her face. Just saying, because she should be leaning back to block it because you get more. Anyway.
Yeah.
Besides
so that left me
like it's just you know, and the whole thing was kind of Donna being there and Cassie being there, and just I don't know why Zeus wanted to get involved, because he never freaking gets involved with anything. Her landing was also kind of awkward. In page 17. It's always page 17.
It's always
page 17 for some reason.
Yeah, lucky number.
I guess. I don't know. The landing is weird. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No, I think you make some points. The panel, you're absolutely right. I mean, this whole thing with Cassie, it's just, it's like, I hate the current Cassie look. And she look at this panel, she looks absolutely gormless, as if she looks vacant, and yet she's the one that saves the day.
She saves the day by running to her grandpappy and going, "Grandpappy, please don't do this."
Yeah.
Please don't. I'm like, that's not much of a heroic thing. That's a, you know. Yeah, let's talk this out. I'm like, here's the thing. Zeus is a douchebag, and he's always a douchebag in every single story he's in.
Is he a douchebag?
Yeah.
My main issue, besides having the other Wonder Girls floating around, is why are we still stuck on Greek mythology and their gods when, well, first of all, we already know that there's other gods floating around. And why aren't we having fun with like the Inca or the Aztec or the Brazilian gods? Because they're pretty freaking interesting. Like Quetzalcoatl is a winged serpent god. Like he would be very interesting to, you know, look at. And
I don't know.
I'm just kind of sick of, and I guess it's because I just don't really like Wonder Woman. Although I'm sick of the Greek and Roman gods in everything. I'm like, come on, guys. You know, and even was Artemis, didn't she even interact with the Egyptian gods?
Yeah.
Like,
great point. I mean, if you want diverse comics, you've got a diverse hero. Yeah. You've got to follow the track. You've got to follow the logic track. Just because she's Amazonian or she has powers like an Amazon, Incas will have their version of Amazons. So let's go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, you can have the Greeks around, but like she should be more engaged with like the gods from that particular area, and it's just kind of annoying that they don't. Well, it's
whitewashing a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and there's no
need.
There's no need, because the comics, they whine and complain of, you know, diversity, but then they go and like, oh, we have this, you know, Amazonian, you know, Brazilian Amazon, cool, and then we're gonna just throw it right back into Greek mythology. I'm like, get your crap together. If you want diversity, use the gods from that area. It's not that hard. There's a lot of cool stories. There's a lot of cool gods. Just freaking do it. People will buy it. Yara, I love Yara. You know, I know a lot of people who like Yara. So
strongly worded letter need to be written.
well, they just need to like, are you looking for diversity or are you not? Because if you want to just pander, then go ahead and just stop pretending like you actually want diversity when you don't. Sorry, I'm getting angry because
no.
they keep fighting about diversity, but then they refuse to do it, and they create a character and then they abandon them because like, oh, they're not as popular as the characters that have been around for 100 years. Of course, they're not going to be as popular as the characters who've been around 100 years. They've been around 100 years. Give your characters good storylines with actual, things that we want to see. And because guess what? People want to see the Incas and the other gods, but you guys go, well, no, they don't, because white people don't want that. You don't know what the crap white people want, because guess what? We find this shit interesting too. Okay, so stop bitching about it and actually do it.
Right. So
preach, sister, preach. Yes.
Sorry.
In closing, just to kind of back Freya up on this, I don't think it's whitewashing per se. What I do think it is lazy writing.
Playing it safe.
I think yeah. Tracy, Wonder Girl. So the Wonder Girl book kicked off whilst you're on your travels around.
Yeah, my hiatus.
So are you up to date? Do you know this character?
No,
do you like her?
that's the thing. I know the character, but I'm not. I haven't read this. I haven't read a lot about, but I do know bits about the background of it. And again, thinking, oh wow, this is going to be a really amazing book. And I was actually going to pick this book as well, and then I said, oh no, I'll look at something different, because I hadn't the feckin' clue of what was going on. But in saying that, she's beautiful. She's drawn not great, but well enough that you could see there's such potential in how to use her as, again, strong female lead. Bringing up I didn't understand why the other Wonder Girls were there. It didn't make sense for them to be there. And then again, Cupid, Ares, we fell in love. But I think we would have fallen in love even if I hadn't have put a spell on you. Shut up, toxic masculinity bullshit. And then,
well, that's how the Greek gods are. They're all a bunch of douchebags.
Yeah, but then as Freya eloquently put it, there's so many beautiful stories, especially in Mayan, Inca, all that kind of South American lore that is rich and vibrant and new. And as somebody who's been reading comics for a very long time, I would just eat up a brand new something with this wonderfully eloquent, very interesting female lead. And they have, they have the power to do that. But as you said, Johnny, it's a very lazy writing that, we know what we're doing with these characters, so we'll just put them in instead. The book is illustrated beautifully, majoritively. Even to the front cover. I love that front cover. It's like, yep, I know what they're talking about.
Good.
I can't wait to go back and read the other issues to make sure that I know what's going on and follow her further.
That's a good shout. Josh.
First and foremost, I was super excited to see Jordie Bellaire on colors on this. She rocks it.
We love Georgie.
Yes,
we love Georgie.
Yes, we do. I have to completely agree that this, how can I put it? Comics today are taking a page out of Hollywood's book. They are so afraid to go new avenues with characters. They're so afraid to make new stories. They would rather regurgitate the same crap that we've had for over 100 years. With Freya, I would have loved to see something with the Brazilian gods, because I don't know hardly anything about it. And make it new, interesting. Incan gods, Aztec. I mean, just as she said, if you want diversity and diverse characters, why the hell aren't you using the lore and the mythos from the area that character is based out of? It's a missed opportunity, not just from the writers, but from the editors too, from the higher ups. Keep saying, we want diverse characters, we want diversity, blah, blah, blah. Well, now it's time to put the pen to the paper and actually do it instead of half-ass it like you've been doing for the last, as long as we've been on this podcast.
But even just like a prime example, there's that new movie that came out, Incantato or whatever it was called, about the magic house. There's all over every social media platform you see these parents are showing pictures of their children going, finally, there's somebody who represents me. Mm-hmm. There is somebody who represents me on the TV, in a cartoon, making sense about our family. And there we're talking about family and history and, their lore. And then we get a different Wonder Girl who's not from the white spectrum. I'm just going to put it plainly. And then all of a sudden we have this beautiful new strong character whose lore and history is not being utilized. If they don't want to think about, they're not thinking about who they're going to make happy. Think about the money they're going to make. You know what I mean? You put out something, parents will be buying it for their kids. It's just the way it would be. So do something new for that sake. If that's all you're doing it for, is to make money, it will be taken up. It will be bought. It will be massive.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's same thing like within Kanto, like you said, within Kanto, like people are going nuts over it. But in my area, the same thing happened when Coco came out, and I freaking love Coco. I think Coco's my favorite Disney movie, because I've always been fascinated with like the Day of the Dead, Ilus de la Muerto, and sorry, my Spanish sucks. I apologize, but like but then again, I've always been interested in like foreign. Like other cultures. So I've, even through middle school and everything, I was very interested in, Egyptian culture and stuff. And then it went over to Japanese and Chinese and Japanese and, Spanish culture. But like the same thing, every kid loved Coco when it came out. And so it's just, they proved time and time again that it's not that people don't want these characters, and I'm not even just talking just Hispanic character, people or Latino people liking these characters. Even like the Asian and white kids love these characters. Like everyone loved these movies, and like my niece, she's Asian and she freaking loves Coco. And so when we went to Disneyland during Halloween, they had the Coco area. She was freaking excited and loved it. And they can't be like, well, but no one will want it, because people do want it. And it's not just because of their ethnicity, which is great to have representation, but like everyone wants difference, because we've already seen the European, no offense to you guys, European fairy tales time and time again, constant European fairy tales, everything, you've seen like millions of Sherlock Holmes movies, which I love, Robert Downey Jr. and, Cumberbatch. But we've seen these a million times, and they just keep remaking them again and again and again.
So let's try something new. That's the answer. Right. Okay. Yes. So whilst you guys are talking about Coco, I'm going to make myself a hot chocolate. No. Just a bad joke. Right, so we'll take a quick break for one of our ads for one of our other shows. I'll leave it to Joshua to take a pick. Josh, whichever one you like.
How about, let me ask you a question. Are you wanting to read a new comic book that has nothing to do with the big two? Are you tired of looking through countless titles and have no idea where to begin? Well, don't you worry, because the Random Dude Josh and Johnny the Machine Hughes has the podcast for you. Flipside Focus, only on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network.
Flipside. What a show. Excellent.
What a show.
Sure. I love doing Flipside. It's class.
I love listening to Flipside.
What?
I do love listening to it.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you said you haven't listened to Flipside.
No, I do. I love listening to it.
So, Flipside, check out UCPN. Check out Flipside. Focus on Twitter to find out when the next show's coming out. Or you never know. If you look really hard, it might be out already.
Oh.
Just saying. All right. Okay. We want something different. I tell you what, let's have something different. It is Monkey Prince number
Woo!
1.
Monkey Prince.
Written by Jean Luan Yang, art by Bernard Chan, colours by Sebastian Cheng, and letters by Janice Chiang. Sorry if I've destroyed everybody's name there. It's my mutant ability. So, what can I say? We all have a skill. Monkey!
Woo!
All right, Tracy, this is your call. Take it away.
I can't explain how excited I was when I seen this. There was no words that could describe my pure bliss and joy when I went, oh, it's Monkey.
It's called beer.
I don't drink anymore. This is what makes me happy. This story is something that not this particular story, but the lore of the Monkey Prince is something I was very aware of. Obviously, when I was younger, there was the TV show, and then that got me really interested in the actual mythology of it. And I went and learned. I was reading about the actual stories, and then there was a remake, and then there was a couple of books, and then DC have come out with this. So, Batman's in it. I'm sorry, that makes me sad, but I understand he has to be, because this book is going to flip people's heads all over the shop because of the way Batman is going to be viewed in it. From the very, very start, your first introduction of this young child seeing Batman and not seeing Batman as a hero. It is great. I love it. The story is crazy. You know, this kid and his family have to move around because of his parents' job, and you know he was traumatized by Batman as a child. You know, they have to end up eventually coming back to Gotham, and the poor kid has PTSD, and he gets panic attacks, and he's in this new school, and he's being bullied, and then the wonderful, always wonderful, you know, the janitor of the school. It's always the janitor, always.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, always. Come talk to me, boy. Come talk. And he's like burping, and all this stuff is coming, and it's like, I don't know what to do. And it just goes from there. And then all of a sudden, as we come to the climax, so they say, of the comic, he sprouts a tail, turns into the Monkey King, the Prince in this one. And it's going to be brilliant. I cannot wait. I don't want to tell everybody the little bits because it makes it so much more interesting. This is going to be a great book. And I love the art in it. Even though there's lots of stupid looking bits in it, I love it. And that's me.
All right. Can you sing the monkey song?
No.
Oh.
You sing it. I'm shy.
High on the top of a mountain. Monkey is funky and never stops. There you go.
Thank you.
That's as good as it gets. You're welcome.
I
Freya.
have no idea what that was. But anyway, we don't have that song in the US apparently. So
did you not see the TV show? The original one?
That was not here. No.
Well, when Freya says she wasn't here, she means she wasn't born, Tracy. That's what she means.
Well, probably. I'm not.
I've never seen it.
Well, maybe not Tracy. I don't know how old Tracy is. So.
I'll be 40 in 3 weeks.
Ah, so I am the child of the group.
You're the baby.
Okay. I am the baby. So my introduction.
Wait. Whoa. I might be younger than 40.
Cool.
And I have a head full of hair.
Oh my god. That's the reason why I'm on Alzheimer's. All right, sorry, Freya.
It's okay. So my introduction to the Monkey King was actually Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And then I figured out, oh, this is actually based on something. And then in college, I actually read the whole thing, which is that's a thick book.
That's a story.
That is a story. And if you're easily offended, don't fricking read it because Pigsy, and there's some piss jokes and there's all sorts of things in there. So if you're easily offended, don't fricking read it because you're gonna start. Well, it'll offend you. It's a fantastic read though.
It's of its time.
Oh, it's of a lot of decades. I mean, oh my gosh, it was great. I loved it. But yeah, I was super excited for this, so I tried to pick it for Josh, which Luckily, I missed Tracy picked it, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get to read it and talk about it too. I do like how his parents are actually working for Penguin. That's why Batman showed up at their house. I was like, oh, okay, because I'm like, I don't remember Batman breaking into random people's homes and beating them up, but like, I was like, oh, I like this. And the moment that the janitor showed up, I'm like, oh, it's Pigsy. It's Pigsy. It was like awesome. And the whole, okay, the water thing, the soda pop thing. I'm like, okay, here's the thing about soda pop. Okay, just like in everywhere else, there's multiple ways to say it in Chinese. And so they chose this particular one, which I'm like, okay, cool. But just like every other word in Chinese, it has multiple definitions, and a lot of there's literally it means vapor, air, or breath, and sometimes depending on how you look at it, it means steam. And then they said it's also, I mean, some people can also say vital energy, and depending on how you talk about it, it refers to like vital energy, vital force, energy. But that's depending on like a lot of different things. And I guess I kind of touched on it. We said it's complicated because literally everything in Chinese is complicated. Like it's not a phonetic language, it's a tonal language. So if you say something with the wrong tone, then you're saying the wrong word. Like and so because ding ding ding, me in college I learned Chinese. It wasn't my main language. My main language was Japanese, but I did take a couple years of Chinese, and it kicked my ass because it's such a hard language. Like it is, reading is one thing, but speaking it is a completely other thing. And so that whole, it's energy water. I'm like, okay, Pigsy, you think that because you know damn well that it also means it's due to air, and so it's called that because of the bubbles that you get from the fizz. Okay, you stupid pig.
Pigsy isn't the brightest of sparks.
No, he's not. He was kind of stupid in the original tale, and I'm glad they kind of have him still being a pervert and stupid in this.
Yeah, he's innocent in a I went to an all-boys school, and now I'm seeing boobs for the first time.
Exactly. I was really excited. I like the art style. I was excited for anime fans. Just think of him as like a mixture of Goku with Gohan. It's Gohan. Just think he's Gohan.
Yes.
Just think of him as Gohan, except he's not a nerd. But
look at the two boys going, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I need to ask, does Gohan hang out with Go Chewbacca?
Oh.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'm actually really excited for the next books because they haven't introduced Sandy yet, and I love Sandy. And they haven't introduced what was his name?
Triplicata.
Triplicata. Yeah, Triplicata. They haven't introduced him yet either.
Don't be giving it. Look at the boys.
This book is hundreds of years old, so you know what? I can spoil, Journey of the West, characters. But I'm excited for them. I want to see how they do that. I know it's not the Monkey King because he's too busy partying it up under the mountain.
Yeah.
And for all you people who want to know what he says in Chinese on that page, what page was that? He's under the mountain. What page was that?
Page.
He jumps in, and then he goes in. You actually see the Monkey King.
Everybody's here.
I freaking love the monkeys.
The monkeys. Hey, the monkey.
Right there
he is. Yeah.
What the Monkey King? What he's actually saying when he's on freaking Nimbus, because I'm referring it to the anime terms because I want to. You're not missing anything. All he really literally says is, "I am the Monkey King." That's all he says right there. It's so you're not missing anything. He just essentially goes, "I am the Monkey King." I'm like, there's no reason for him to say that, but he just introduced himself. So
it's just so people know.
Just so people who know Chinese know.
So let's give it people going, what did he say? So people are going to copy and paste that and put it into Google.
So
there's the start of an addiction.
Yeah, so that he just says, "I am the Monkey King." So that's all he says. Nothing of
just
all
be
that important.
Just be mindful not to translate it or Google it wrong, because otherwise you end up sweet and sour fried rice.
But look at that panel beside it, how cute Pigsy is. Look at his little face.
Oh, give over. Josh, save me from
Look
the
at
anime world.
him. Look at him.
Hey, Johnny, I think this is our punishment for talking about football.
Is
Yes.
it? Oh yeah, fair enough.
Because the whole time they were talking, I'm sitting here going, the hell? I have no idea what. It really was. Yeah, it's like when you and I talk about football, or Matthew and I talk about magic. It was kind of the same effect. So I think we need to maybe not talk about football in front of Freyja anymore, or else we'll just be in this stupor of I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hey, I'm all right. Nothing will stop me talking about football. Just saying. You can pick whatever. You can even pick a Red Hood book for all I care.
You know, well,
You said it now.
We can talk about pigskin.
Yay!
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I you know what? I will say the art in this book was absolutely fantastic. Top notch. It was gorgeous. And I have no complaints about it. I can see why Freya picked it because she probably knew that I was going to be confused as all hell.
Yeah, but you could luck out because Tracy picked it.
I did, yeah. And so then when I saw my pick, Freya was so nice to give me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Should we get to your pick now then? Well,
You're good like that, Freya. We can depend on you.
Yeah. So, as you know, the rules of the room pretty much go that if you miss a show you generally get a book picked for you on your return. So Josh was missing last time around for good reasons, but we're not going to let that stand in the way of having some fun. So, Frey, did you pick this for Josh? Was that right?
Yes, I did.
So, oh my good God.
Blame the dartboard.
It's One Star Squadron. Da, da, da. Right. Written by Mark Russell, art by Steve Lieber, colours by Dave Stewart, letters by Dave Sharp. And to be honest, I'm not sure if you shot yourself in the foot with this one, Freya, because Mark Russell is an indie writer par excellence, having written books such as Billionaire Island, Not All Robots, Dead Box, and the highly satirical My Bad. And if you want to know more about Mark Russell, not that I'm giving you a plug or anything, but check out Outside the Panels because there's an interview with Mark Russell a few episodes ago. Just saying, my finger is on the pulse. There you go. Josh, take it away.
You know, this part of the cover that I'm sharing at the moment was probably the best way that sums up this book. And the look on Red Tornado's face does just that. Okay, now that I've got my little snarkiness out of the way, this book I felt was more of a jab at the boys. Because now that book, that series is fantastic. Having a company called Heroes for You, very, very similar to
another hero company.
Superman saying that having superheroes as employees doesn't work. The Seven. So all in all, like the fact that I made that correlation made the book actually quite entertaining for me because of the fact that whether it was intentional or not, I feel it was a jab at the boys.
The boys.
It's just a stupid read. But Red Tornado's an idiot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who
is he an idiot?
Well, I mean, he was told to fire a guy because he got banned from Comic-Con, which I might add is pretty difficult. Well, no, it's not difficult to do.
No.
I got thinking about that. Nope. I've had to 86 a number of people. It's fine. Partly because they were creepy bastards, but that's neither here
Yeah,
nor
it's
there.
usually
That's normally why.
That's
Yeah.
normally why.
And
Don't be
look,
a creepy person.
yeah,
And look
don't
at Facebook, you know he's a creepy person. Look at him.
right. And for him to be like, well, according to company rules, I'm supposed to fire you, but he doesn't. Like, the hell. And then so send the creepy guy to a kid thing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's even better.
best idea ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
Red Torn-
I'm not sticking up for him, but he is a robot, remember?
doesn't matter.
Us machines have to stick together.
I will say these next few pages, I am highly offended by.
Really?
Yeah.
Which
Why?
bit?
Read out the words of this Irish person. No one in their right mind in Ireland talks like that.
To be sure.
To be sure, top of the morning to you. Oh, Jenny Mary. No.
Well, every time
No.
you draw London, they put a double-decker bus in it. I've never seen a double-decker bus for 20 years.
I know. It doesn't happen for a while.
So what? This is, and I'm sorry, but Superman's face here.
What Superman look like at all? Who is he? This isn't Superman.
That should we call him? He looks more like Derper Man. He's very derpy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But when I seen Superman on the first page, I thought it was satirical. I didn't think it was. I thought it was somebody pretending to be him when they were saying, for hire or I was like, that's not Superman. Oh my God, that is Superman.
It looks like one of those Vegas lookalikes that you can hire for your parties.
no,
I think it's supposed to be satirical. That is the point. Fair enough, that is Superman, but it's Superman standing up against the corporate world. It's supposed to be a set.
Here's the best way to do it. Okay. Here's the best way to explain that Superman. Give me just a hot second here to queue up what I want, because we're going to make this. Exactly. So, to start this off, expectation.
Yes.
Okay. That's if you order Superman from DC Comics. What we get is Superman from Wish.com.
That arrived 4 weeks late after waiting for
Discount.
So if you enjoy something that is absolutely mind-numbing and has no point, and there's nothing else that Hollywood can do for you, go ahead and read this book. Aside from that, you can pass on it.
I'm super surprised.
Ah.
I thought you'd dig this. Like, this is for me.
This is a dollar major book.
Dude,
I mean,
this
hell,
literally
shops a dollar major.
This is superhero meets Dilbert. What can be good about that?
Dilbert.
No.
All right, Freya.
That's under the assumption that I enjoyed Dilbert.
Fair enough. Freya,
Yes.
are you as grouchy pants as Josh there?
About a book I didn't have to read.
Did you not read it? Oh, the rules. Excellent. I've been done in by the rules. Did anybody read this book other than
I
Josh?
did.
Right.
I did.
Excellent.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
I read it.
And
That's why I was so offended.
I also read it. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. All right. Then.
Yeah, it's a stupid book, but I understand the premise. You know what I mean? And how, like, even the besides the horrible Irishism, the whole thing of it is are they going to turn them into profitable people or not? So who is going to make money and who's not? And like, this guy lets people drown because he can get 3 times the money opening a Halloween shop. Everybody hates the office manager, and he gets called in and they're like, Red Tornado thinks he's going to get fired, but instead they're like, because everybody hates you, it doesn't matter, so start firing people because they hate you anyway. And it's like, it's the corporate world at its best and meanest and most real.
Yeah.
So
It's a derpy book.
And just like Superman said, being a superhero can't be a job, because just with every other job, once it's a job, you
It's a
start
job.
slacking and don't give a shit, because it's draining. And
Yeah.
that's why they also say don't do what you love as a job, because you'll start to hate it.
So my issue with this book, I thought the book was funny. I thought it had some really, having worked in a corporate world, in call centers, I can totally feel the pain of the office.
Yeah.
You know, get your sales. What are you going to do? You're getting
Yeah.
fired. I get it. It's a slice of my previous life, if I'm honest. And never know, soon to be newer life, I suppose. But the thing that knocks me about this book more than anything is it's got BBC-itis. Now, what I mean by BBC-itis
I understand exactly what you mean.
is back when Doctor Who wasn't back on the telly, right? Every time BBC ran an advert for their programs, there would be a picture of the TARDIS or the noise of the TARDIS landing or taking off, but there would never be a Doctor Who TV show. As if BBC is saying, we've got all this great stuff, but we're not going to do anything about it. And that's exactly what I feel about this book when I see characters like Red Tornado pop in and Power Girl. Why do we not have a Power Girl book? Seriously. You're happy to use her for this, but you're not happy to use her for, like, I don't know, just a society book or World's Finest again. You know, there's no...
I was sad that they didn't put Power Girl in a proper power suit. I
Oh,
know they were
with the
putting
shoulders,
white thing.
yeah,
There
that'd be cool.
was no
Yeah.
shoulders in the suit, and
That
there
would
should
be-
have been, because she deserves it.
That would be cool. So I think that's my irksome. But having read Mark Russell's other stuff, I mean, I've reviewed Billionaire Island a couple of times. I reviewed Dead Box. I interviewed him for My Bad. He has also written stuff for like Red Sonja and a whole lot of different Dynamite books. There's like standard stuff, and then there's satire, and then there's Mark Russell that normally sits up here, right? So you've got to take your tongue, stick it in your cheek, and read the book and just enjoy it for the daft fun that it is. Although, if you've worked in call centers, it will seem like a slice of, oh my God, that is actually me. So there you go.
I try not to think about those days. Thanks.
Luckily, I've never had those days. But yeah, I mean, stupid things can be like, stupid humor can be fun, and they could be good to you. Like we said, if it's, if you're looking for a stupid fun, check it out and see if it's your type of humor. And if it's not, then oh well, people have different tastes. Go get something else. Go get Monkey Prince.
There you go. Right, there you go. 4 books down, 4 done, 4 different types of books all across the board. Hope you enjoyed the show. So all that's left really is for me to say, Josh, thank you very much. Tracy, thanks. Good man. Freya down there. Don't forget to check out UCPN for all your favorite shows, including Joshua.
Oh, we got Flipside Focus and the Jank Think Tank, where we talk about all things Magic the Gathering. So,
okay, and check out the Old Timers comic book show due on February 16th. That is another one of our famous Tainted Love specials just for Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
All right, so I have been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. As always, adios.